Welcome to the Exposed Truth Podcast with Jared Binion. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about how I would transition from being a collegiate coach or a high school coach from that profession to the private sector is what I do myself. So we'll talk about that in today's episode. But first, I got another email from someone who wanted to thank me for the book. Hey, Jared, I wanted to thank you for the book. And I was also thank you for answering my questions originally on your podcast concerning girls with verticals in relation to guys with vertical jump. And for those of you not heard in that podcast, someone asked me, what's a girl's 40-inch vertical compared to a male? So usually females have about 75% of the explosive power that a male does. Even in their upper body mass is 75% less. So a 75% of 40 is 30. So if you just want to take that formula, that will let you know a girl or a female jumping a 30-inch vertical is the equivalent to a male jumping a 40-inch vertical. So, and this guy was also letting me know after I got the book, I've seen a lot of people starting to post more stuff about the jumps on Instagram and get tagged and stuff. Thank you guys. If you would, try to help me with this YouTube, like, subscribe. I posted a video yesterday of like a zigzag 40-yard dash and how over 40 yards, if you zigzag through it, only made a 6-7 inch difference. I'm gonna redo it again today because I could have said some stuff better, but the start and all that crap that we hear is not that important. The start is not that important. Hey, how do you start? Hey, you're this. Okay, maybe once you become more of a collegiate athlete, you could work on it, but you're not really gonna shave that much off of it. The biggest thing is overcoming your own inertia. Your relative strength, how strong are you relative to how much you weigh, will dictate how fast you go from 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds, or if you're going to be 6.7 seconds. So anyway, let's get back to this email. Today I had my first girl hit a 30-inch vertical. She is a high school sophomore volleyball player who in less than 2 years has doubled her vertical. Her initial vertical was 15.1. We currently have 7 females at 28 inches or above and rapidly rising. I get a lot of shit questions about what a CrossFit coach knows about sports performance or training in general. CrossFit's done a lot for me and it's given me an opportunity to start in the industry, and almost immediately I was drawn to the performance side of things. I found Louis' books in early 2010. After I opened, I was able to attend seminars by Shane Sweat and Laura Phelps Stackhouse now. In 2012, this led me to an even greater explosion in results we had with CrossFit and training for athletes. Thanks again. Best wishes, Sean. Sean, thanks for the email. I'm glad the book's helping the people out. That's what it was intended for, intended to help people that have gyms, people that have performance facilities, or people that wanted to know. So if they're going to grow and try to get a performance facility, that they'll be able to hopefully help others, help these athletes. Jumping is correlated to running. The higher I can get them to jump, the faster they're going to run a 40-yard dash with little to no running. And I get this question again and again and again, why don't we run? Well, if I have a kid and we sprint all the time, they're going to think their improvement's coming from the sprinting and not from the squatting and the jumping. And so what I'll do is I just let them squat, jump, get some accessories, squat, jump, get some accessories. At the end of each month, I test them, and I can average about 1/10 of a second off a kid per month. And a lot of people don't see it until they actually, or a lot of people don't believe it until they actually experience it. So I really try to push not running. But if we were getting ready for a combine, if a kid's getting ready for a summer camp, I do know a lot about how to start and starting technique and things like that, and I'll get them ready for that. But I got to get them to understand how important squatting is. That's why we don't run a whole lot at the gym, because they've got to understand if they don't get that relative squat strength up, relative squat strength compared with their meters per second, so I'll call it the ratio, the squat ratios, and you can look back on the other podcasts and check those out. But so if you squat 1.65, I know you should be running a 4.8 40-yard dash. If you squat a 1.75 to 1.78, you should be running about a 4.5 40-yard dash. And so there's still some errors and things that I got to figure out. When someone emailed me, I got this, Thomas, I'm gonna get to your question on the next podcast about flipping the bar and cheating Nintendo. So I'm trying to clean up the guys that were cheating Nintendo because it's kind of messing my numbers up, so I could have better information for those of you out there. I know if you're squatting 1.3, you're probably running a 5.1 40-yard dash, maybe a 5 flat best. And so once I get you squatting those relative squat ratios, I can then kind of figure out okay, he's got this, he's got the dough. So if we're making a pizza, he's got the base. That squatting more is not the limiting factor. What's our backside? What's our 20 to 40? Why is this kid, if they got to relative squat strength, one kid runs a 2.1 backside, and the other kid runs a 1.99 or 2.0 versus a 2.1 on the backside. So trying to at least get the main thing out of the way. If they're squatting and they're not jumping, the not jumping could be hurting the 40-yard dash. You know, we got to squat to increase our strength. We use our jumps to tone and sharpen our nervous system for a better rate of force development. Jumping is our speed squats. By using the dumbbells, and if you're loaded properly with the dumbbells, it elicits a powerful muscle contraction, which helps stimulate the nervous system, just like the maximum effort method helps to adhere more motor neurons to the tissue so that we can get more explosive. And by squatting, we can get stronger. So we're turning that strength. Basically, we have a piece of metal. That squatting is kind of shaping that into this form of a knife. And to get that knife sharp, sharpen our stuff, our jumps are sharpening and toning our nervous system for greater force production. So hopefully I didn't get too far off on a rant with that. But let's get to Josh Evans sent me this a while back, and I did not address it or did not attack it like I was supposed to. So I told him I'd get with it. And so, Jared, I just bought the jump book. Cannot tell you how excited I am for the book to come in. And thank you again for sharing this information in your book and your podcast. Josh, thanks for the kind words. I have wondered a lot recently about transitioning from being a high school strength and conditioning coach to doing private strength and conditioning. Would you consider doing a podcast discussing the business side of what you do? How have you found success to marketing with high school and college athletes? For students that have weight classes at school, how do you sell the importance of extra work with you? Do you have separate levels of memberships for kids that come in more or less often? How do you continue to be profitable and continue to grow? Well, Josh, let's kind of attack some of this right here. Let's see, what's the first question? Have I found success in marketing to high school and college athletes? Basically, results. A lot of the college athletes I did not get them when I first started. I didn't have any college athletes. The only thing I could get is a high school athlete, and I eventually got my college athletes because they were with me while they were in high school. They went to college, then they came back. Then they start that circle of growth for you. But marketing, when we first started with the gym in 2008, I couldn't get a job. I got fired from my job. I couldn't get it. Once I got fired from my job, I tried to apply at World Gym. I applied for a speed training place. I applied to McDonald's, Lowe's, Home Depot, Arby's, anything and everything. The only people, I got a call back one time from a flower shop, and the flower shop said I was overqualified. Well, if you read my resume, I graduated University of Memphis with an exercise science degree. I had given presentations at National Strength Conditioning Conferences, the National Strength Conditioning Association National Conference, the American College of Sports Medicine National Conference. So I'd given presentations at these big things. And I've also worked in the lab as an undergrad student, which most people don't work in the lab as an undergrad student. So then I graduated, so I had that. After I got out of college, I worked for a recreation center for about a year and a half doing personal training, and also worked at a sports performance place in Memphis. So I was working at two different gyms. One was just doing personal training, working with your gym prop, and the other one was working with athletes at this speed training facility. So then we moved to Georgia. I couldn't get a job doing the sports performance, like the performance facility in Memphis I was working at. There was one here in Georgia. I applied for that because the sports performance facility was a franchise. And so I applied there, couldn't get it. Applied to World Gym, couldn't get it. So I started working and doing erosion control and stuff on the highways of Georgia. But when 2008 hit, that's when the recession hit, lost my job. The construction job I was doing was coming to an end. And so I was sitting there thinking like, oh, shoot, what the hell am I gonna do? But the only thing I've ever known and studied since I was 12 years old is strength conditioning. Even when I was supposed to be supervising my guys, I'd sit there and read strength conditioning stuff. I'd have Iron Mind in my thing. I'd read these books. I read more textbooks out of college than I ever did my entire time in college. I've read more books, more textbooks, highlight textbooks. You know, textbooks are kind of boring, but actually kind of fun to accomplish. So I tried all, so I was working, and then I tried to, right before I got fired, I bought a GHR because in my garage I had a bench that the University of Memphis had given me. I had some dumbbells the University of Memphis had given me, and I had about 3 barbells, Texas barbells, that the University of Memphis had given me, and I always wanted to work my hamstrings, so I bought a GHR from Elite Fitness, and a week later I was fired from my job, or let go, because the job was coming to an end, and I was gonna have that on my credit card bill, and my wife was cussing me out, and it's like, you know, I didn't know that was gonna happen, and so I started applying for everything and anything I possibly could. It's amazing. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get a job at Lowe's. Like I said, Lowe's, Home Depot, nowhere. I was applying for hundred jobs a day, and I just couldn't do anything. And so I had this equipment in my garage, and I got it from the University of Memphis. I had it stored at my parents' house, and when we moved to Georgia, I was able to keep it in my garage. And I called one of my friends that I knew had his brother was still in high school, and I said, "Hey, I'll train you for free if you can get your brother to come train with me." Well, his brother would come. He increased his strength pretty quickly. Liked it, but you know, I wouldn't get anybody else. No one else was coming to the house. So what I did is I didn't know anything else to do. So that's all I could do, is I knew I could train them, and I knew I could get people better. Even when I was at the speed franchise facility, I would kind of go off of what my programming was, and this is the big thing I have against franchises, is I couldn't do what I knew was necessary in order to get this, because I got to follow protocol for that company, so that company does not get a backlash or get sued because I didn't follow protocol. That's what I don't like about franchises. And so there's franchises that here, but you know, I don't know if they got to follow the protocols or whatever. But you know, like if I'm working at McDonald's, that's a franchise. If I'm working at Lowe's or Home Depot, those are franchises. I just can't come up with my own equipment to sell, or come up make my own hamburger at McDonald's and sell it. If I have this franchise, if I'm Chick-fil-A, I can come up with this new badass chicken sandwich and sell it this Chick-fil-A, because it does not follow the Chick-fil-A mold. So that's my biggest thing to get franchises. I came up with Explosive Mechanics. If you can listen to this podcast, I talked about how I came up with the name in a book. I'm not going to get it here because I got to get this stuff done. But the big thing is I couldn't get a job, and the only thing I knew was strength and conditioning. So I knew a guy, got his brother, and no one else was coming. Who's going to come to a creepy guy's house? I'm not saying that I'm creepy, but I think it's kind of odd going to someone's house. We lived in a subdivision, and no one else is coming. So what I did is I pinpointed we're in between 2 counties. We're in Coweta and Fat, and we're right on where the gym is now. It's right on the line between the 2 counties. So I pinpointed the furthest high school in one county and pinpointed the furthest high school in the other county. And I kind of drew a circle in the middle. That's where we need to be. Well, within that circle, there's a lot more high schools in. So I'm a dead center between 2 high schools, and at the furthest point in their counties, respective counties, and drew a circle. And so then we started going around and looking for a facility. I wanted something that did not have air conditioning, because being in the heat and training in the heat is a form of conditioning itself. And when these athletes go out to play football, softball, whatever outdoor sport they're playing, they're used to working, straining, and grinding in the heat. They get out there, they don't have the problems these other kids have. So that's a part of what I wanted. And so I was looking for warehouse space, and this was in 2008, again, like the recession, and we would spend weeks and weeks looking. Finally found a spot, but the guy wanted me to sign a 2-year lease. I have no job, no money, and I got to sign a 2-year lease. Jeez. So ended up doing that, and my wife helped me a lot. We started cleaning up the place, trying to buy some wood in order to put on the walls to kind of decorate, make it look more, instead of like just a bare bones warehouse, to where, you know, stuff was falling off the walls and things. So I was like, gee, just got to clean it up. So started there, and as I was working on cleaning up, the kid the kid I was training out of my garage walks up and said, "What the hell are you doing here?" He said, "Well, I work right there." I said, "What's that?" He said, "It's a cheerleading facility. My girlfriend's parents own that." I said, "Hmm." And so he started getting his girlfriend to come up there, and her friends started coming up there. So that's how I got some initial clients. And the baseball place facility behind me that I didn't realize even what I was getting myself into. I didn't realize I was going to have a cheerleading facility across the street, and I didn't realize I was going to have a baseball place. I was just looking for a warehouse where I can actually start to try to grow a gym. And behind me was a baseball place, and the guy came up to me that was working at the baseball place and said, "Hey, I got this kid. He just wanted to see how well I would do with training him." So he trusted me and he got me that kid. And once that kid got better, that kid started telling people. But as far as marketing myself to the high school athletes, me and my wife, we drove. She'd have to work during the day, so during the day I'll drive, put flyers in people's mailboxes, throw flyers in the driveway. And the weekends, me and her would go to various baseball fields, soccer fields, rec fields where the kids were doing recreation football, and we would stick flyers on the cars. We would stick flyers on mailboxes. We were trying to cover every subdivision we could in 2 counties. And I got 0 phone calls from that, nothing. Put advertisement in the paper. That's very expensive. Didn't have any money, and I'm spending money I don't have. Very expensive. Never got a call from the newspaper. Never got anybody like that. Never got anybody from the Flyers. And the funny thing about the Flyers is we'd go to the ballpark, and as we're leaving, people were starting to come back to the cars. They would just take the paper off the windshield, crumble it up, and throw it on the ground. Wouldn't even look at it or read it. So I was like, what the hell are we doing? It's wasting our time. They're not even doing anything about it. And so as I was riding through a neighborhood one time, I was putting stuff on the mailboxes, and a guy, he was cutting grass, comes out, goes to the mailbox, takes the flyer off, crumbles it up, throws it to the ground, and runs over it with his freaking lawnmower. I will never forget that. And I just felt like I was just a big waste of my time, killing so much time and trying to show people out there, but no one would believe it. And so as far as marketing, the best marketing thing I've ever done is I have worried about the athletes I have. I didn't worry about the athletes I did not have. I just tried to get the results with the kids that came. I wanted to get the kids that were already there better. I wasn't worrying about anybody else on the outside. So from that cheerleading facilities, volleyball players started coming, and their vertical jumps started going up. They were starting going from a 25 or 24-inch box. We got to a 30, we got to 30. So our box jumps were improving, just like I talked about in the book. But and so the mom thought it was, I would stay after hours. I was doing everything I could to make sure, hey, look, I'm not going to give up on you. I didn't push my athletes in and out. We start at 4, you're out of here at 5. No, if you got there at 4, we're leaving when our work's done. And so a lot of times strength conditioning coaches will have all right, an hour in and out, boom. Or if you go to a franchise, or if you go to a franchise facility, if you've seen these people that have these franchises, 45-minute session, in and out. And I know the thing is, when I was working at that franchise facility in Memphis, we had a sheet of paper, and it had workouts. We had to be done with this section at this time on the clock. There was a clock on the wall, but if we did not get done, we were moving on. Next section, move on. Then we did 30 minutes of warm up, 30 minutes of speed training, and 30 minutes of strength training. But the thing is I couldn't program. It was very light. Kids were almost choosing the weight, so they're not getting better. For those how to overload and train the athletes and make them stronger. But sometimes we didn't get through all the weight training stuff, because if you're trying to teach some kids that are in that class how to do these specific things, and sometimes if we were teaching hang cleans, we'd just work with the bar. And if they were not getting it, he said, so what, just move on. So I was kind of in my boss's office, we're trying to figure out, look, and no, we got to follow these protocols. And so that's my experience with working with that. And so when I had kids come to me personally, I wanted to make sure this was accomplished before they went home, because we got to try to do this session, next session, we got to get better. And so I was always worried about improving them. And so as those girls jumped higher, that baseball kid, he was getting better. His baseball instructor was noticing a much more pop off the bat, much more explosive. His high school team, he had to run faster. He was running a 7.2. We got him to a 6.8. And so once I got improvement with him, that guy at the baseball facility sent me a softball team. And I have no idea how the hell I trained a softball team with 2 racks back in the day, but I did it. And that guy was so impressed with it, because what I did is I take my time with them. I'm not just trying to work them out or run them through stuff. I'm trying to train them. I'm trying to make sure that we get better at these parameters. and I would test their 40s like I do now. I would test various things. I would want to test their swing speed. I was wanting to see if I was doing was working to help actually transfer the sport. And so sometimes a lot of, like if you're at the gym now, a lot of times it's just organized chaos. You got people squatting, you got people benching, you got people squatting and benching on the same day. You got kids that may have to, it just depends on where we are. And I make it better for the athletes, but it's harder on me because everybody's everywhere. Jared, you got ADD? No, I got to take care of this person. Hey, look, hey, Jared, can you come help me with this? Hey, I got to talk, I get this person here, I get this, then I'll get to you. That's how it kind of operates and runs. And so I don't care about it being harder for me because I need my athletes better. I still have the same mindset. Don't make it easier on Jared. Make my athletes better. That's why if you've ever sitting there witness, or when someone comes to take, hey, can I come see what you do? As a parent, what about a kid and wants to bring the new kid in? It's like, can I come see what you do? That drives me nuts because they have no understanding of what they're looking at unless you get a chance to talk to them. I've had people come in, sit there for 10 minutes, get up and leave, and never come back. And so I've even thought about now at the level that I'm at is, if you don't know anyone that comes to the gym, I don't want you to come because you don't know anything. You're basing everything. Like I had one parent, like, do y'all do plyometrics? Why are you using old school term? Do you think you know something? And sometimes they're like they know more than what you do. And I'm like, and so it's like, I've got enough of a reputation now. I've got enough track records at the gym to where now, instead of, I can show the new parents all the results and the better stuff that we're getting compared to what was doing back in the day. But, so once those softball team got better, they sent me another guy, and the guy's primary thing, he wanted to dunk as a high school sophomore. Like, geez. And so he came in the fall, and by the time his basketball season came up in the winter, he was able to dunk a basketball in high school in his sophomore year. That's what he wanted to do, and everybody thought that was amazing. So then his best friend was a major running back at a local high school here, and he came in, and I started to work with him. Him and his buddy were both benching 235 in January. So by March, the kid that was coming to me was benching, I got him to go from 235 to 315, and the other kid, he went from 235 to 235, did not move anywhere. So he's like, what the hell are you doing? Where are you going? How do you get? And so then he told him, then that kid started coming, and then the same thing happened to him. So then by that time that graduating class, I had someone from that school that was going to go to NC State, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss. And so then it just started kind of growing and spreading like that because all the kids that came in, I took care of. The newspaper wasn't working. The only thing you can do is to help the people that you have. And I started from one person to two, then it just kind of started spreading. I went in a hurry to, I didn't know what I was going to do. And sometimes my wife, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to go do. I was worried about getting too many people at once because how was I going to be able to help them? If you're coming to me, I wanted to make sure that I was able to help you get what you were looking for and what you were there for, and not running through a system. Hey, let's do this 6-week program that after 6 weeks, what you just done? No, it takes longer than 6 weeks to improve a vertical at great heights. You just can't come in and you can't, hey, let's do this 6-week bench program. Those are selling in the marketing tools that I don't do. All I do is take care of the people that I have. So Josh, I hope that's kind of how I continue to focus. That's how I've continued to grow, is just take care of the people that come to you, make sure they get results. Then some days in the gym now, I can have 30 kids per hour. Every one of those kids I want to get better. Even the kids that don't want to get better. The kids that don't want to get better, if you can make them better, and the kids that want to get better and they're struggling to get better, it helps mold and help your brain. Okay, what's this and what's this going on? I don't have trainers at work. I don't have a staff. I don't have interns. I do have a girl that helps me out the front desk that really helps out a whole lot because people coming in, answering questions and getting their folders organized for me so I can hand them out, write at them, and get them rolling for the day. We do start at the top of every hour, but a kid may be there 2 hours, 2.5 hours, an hour and a half, an hour. It just depends on when we get done what we have to do that day. So, and a lot of times now, if parents do come in to watch, was really impressed because I was actually showing and teaching this kid how to bench press, not just telling him to lay down a bench. I was actually manipulating his shoulders, trying to get him on the bench right, trying to do this. And the dad stopped me. He said, that's amazing that you took your time. And so the parents did. So then that parent told another parent this past week. So I got another kid, and he said, oh, I saw you adjust it. And I had a kid, he broke his bench press record. And most they've ever benched is 115, then he benches 125. I had another one to bench 115, to bench 145, just by manipulating and showing their techniques. And that's kind of what it's, if you can make them, that's how you get the kids to buy in. When I was at coaching basketball players at a university here, doing strength and conditioning for that university, I out-jumped all the basketball players. And they're like, how the hell is this possible? So then they bought in. They see me do stuff, the kids see me do stuff, they will listen. If I can increase a kid's bench press very rapidly, they'll listen and they'll do it. At first, when I first started the gym, the hardest thing I had to do was try to get them to squat, because no one wanted to squat. Everybody wants to do all the fancy stuff. But once they have seen that I test the vertical, I test the running at the end of each month, and the kids that improve on their squat and the kids that they know are squatting, hey, you only squatted 3 times this month. They're complaining that the 40-yard dash, you only squatted 3 times this month. Oh, and so I had a kid that was coming once a week. His 40-yard dash went trained. Next week he came next month he came twice. His 40 went down. Next month he came 3 times. 40 went down. And then all of a sudden he started coming to Limited, and he's been at the gym ever since, just because he's understood. And then he tells his friends, hey, this is it, because it's not always me telling the kids. You got to kind of build an inner circle. Then I get the kids at the gym help coach each other, because I tell the kids, once you start teaching people, you actually learn a little bit more about yourself. And so if you come to the gym, or if you get a chance to look at it, or whatever these parents do, the kids, it's the atmosphere. It's the atmosphere of the gym that molds itself, because we play loud music. We don't play clean music. It's explicit stuff. Even at the kids out now. You got 7 to 8, 10-year-old. But if you don't like it, I don't want you there. I had a parent one time come in, and he was mad because we was playing music that had cuss words in it. Walks through the door, comes into the gym where it says no parents beyond this point. And I had them shut off the radio. I said, you're killing me. He said, no, you're killing me. Are you going to play this type of crap in this gym? I said, yes, I am. And he said, if you don't play that type of music, I'm not going to bring my kid here. I said, okay. And he just kind of looked at me startled. And I said, I don't care. And he said, you still going to play? I said, yes. And guess what? The kid finished that session and never came back. Good. I'm not going to bow down. I'm trying to create an atmosphere. If you don't like it, if you want me to hold your hand and jingle your way and like, oh, buddy, it's such a great job. You did such a great job. You're at the wrong freaking place. Oh man, you're slow as shit. Damn, I didn't realize you're so weak. That's me. And if you don't like me, if you don't like the gym, hey, I'll get you a result. But I'm not holding your hand, and I'm not rah-rah cheerleading your ass on to do it. So that's how I've kind of always done it. I'm not being super friendly. This one parent told his other parent, hey, Jared can give a shit less if you come to this gym or not. I'm not there to pacify the people. I'm there to help the people. And so once they realize who I am and what I do and what I'm trying to accomplish, it's either it's for them or it's not. You're either an Apple iPhone person, or you're a Samsung person. Either you're this or you're that. It's who you are, and just be who you are and be yourself. But on the other hand, help the people that you got. Be faithful. When I leave the gym, and I thank God for having that gym, the opportunities that I have to do all the time, So take care of the people you got. That's the best marketing thing that I can talk about. So anyway, and so once they go off to high school, like I've had, there's 2 D1 universities in Atlanta. There's Georgia State and Georgia Tech. And I got athletes from both universities that come down 3 days a week to train with me. So now I have actual collegiate athletes participating in their collegiate sport, driving down to train at the gym. That's how I got to that point, but it's taken so many years to get there. You got to have those kids that come in and grind and believe in you. And once they get to school, and if they're not getting what they want, they're going to come to you. And so just like your question, for students who have weight classes, how do I sell the importance of extra work with me? I don't really necessarily have to. It's the kids that go to school and talk. So like me and you were, Josh, and me and you were buddies, and I went from about 315 bench. We were both at 235, and I'm benching 315, and you're still benching 235. You're like, what the hell are you doing? And so you're going to want to follow. And I'd say, I've been going this guy at Explosive Mechanics, and this is what we've done. Then you get there, and your bench does the same thing. Well, you're telling the next person. And so I also show them the results. Like I've got every kid at the gym has a folder, and on the back of the folder is their monthly results, and their 20-yard dash, their 40-yard dash, their vertical jump. I always don't track their bench or squat on monthly progress. I should, I don't. I use the strength to get us more explosive and faster. But the numbers I care about, because that's what people care about, is how fast you run, how high you jump. You go to a college camp, you go to these camps, you go to NFL Combine, how fast you run, how far, how high do you jump. But you got to use, you're not going to jump higher without external load. You're not going to run faster unless you load yourself. And so a lot of these wall drills and fake speed stuff, still got to do a podcast on that. It kills me. Wall drills, there's no, you want to drive your knee. You know how you drive your knee forward? Strengthen your hip flexor, dummy. You don't do a stupid drill to help you drive your knee forward. No, that may be the motion, but you're not going to get any stronger by moving your freaking limb by itself. And so that's, I'm going to start really hammering all that stuff that people try to do to sell people on, hey, let's do this wall drill. No. Hey, Jared, what do you think about this exercise? No. And I've even got to the kids at the gym. Hey, Jared, what do you think about this exercise? Look, they're trying to sell, they're showing you an exercise to sell this product. So that's what a lot of stuff on Instagram is. So how do I sell the importance of extra work with you? I show the kids results. I had some kids, and I can show some parents. I had some kids that were from a 5.940 to a 5.540, went to high school workouts for 7 to 8 months, came back, still ran a 5.540 yard dash. I had one kid who went from a 5.7 to a 5.3, went to high school, and came 8 months later, came back, still ran a 5.3. But when they started to come back, 5.3, 5.2, 5 flat, 4.9, so then it starts dropping again. And so that's kind of what I'm showing, because most of the times at the high schools, they're not teaching the kids how to bench. And so if you got parents watching you, you're taking your time to show this kid how to bench. Or if you got parents watching and you explain the importance of why we squat with a tendo and for the speeds, it will kind of self-grow, because then at the end of the month, when you're testing their kid and you got a electronic clock up there and you see that it's completely, everything is electronic, no human error, and they're seeing their kids get faster, that parent will tell another parent, that kind of keeps going on like that. But you know, if you got transition from the collegiate world or the college world, you already know people. You already know high school kids. If you're a college coach, you already know it. College athletes, they're going to know someone. Hey, look, I'm opening up my facility. Hey, I'm going to do this, you know, if the kids like you, they're going to tell, hey, my friend Josh has opened up a facility. Hey, let's go there. And if you can take care of them, if you get them strong like you say you can, they'll tell people. These people tell people. Then it will just kind of start to mold and kind of grow itself like that. So, do I have separate levels of membership for kids that come in more or less often? Yes. I got kids that come twice a week. They pay this. I got kids that come in 3 days a week. They pay that. I got kids that come unlimited every day. Yes, they pay this. The twice a week is either twice a week or 8 times a month. And my stuff does not roll over month to month. I'm not keeping track of sessions. I ain't doing that crap. Because if you give someone sessions, what they're going to do, oh, I came 4 times this month. Oh, I came 4 times this month. They're going to want to kind of spread that out to try to save some money, but they're not going to get any results. If they're not giving me results, I don't want them either. You know, so the whole point of it's this or this means, oh, I better get him to the gym. I paid for it, you know. And so a part of having a price at the gym is to, oh, you know, but if you're super cheap, oh, I only pay this, so I don't have to go, you know, okay, I'll do this, you know. So I put a price on it to where, oh, I need to get them to the gym. I paid for this, you need to get to the gym. Because if they're not getting to the gym and they're not consistent, they're not going to give you results, you know. And so then if they're not giving you results, then you may have to sell yourself out and do like fake speed training crap. So that's why my stuff does not roll over month to month. That's why we don't do session-based training. Because if they're not willing to dedicate themselves 2 days a week, 3 days a week, or these, I think I have a lot of them that come unlimited. If they're not willing to dedicate themselves to that, They're not going to give you your numbers. Um, I get paid in dollars, but what I really care about, like I had a kid, Jared, they paid you, they would come. I said, I don't give a crap how much they pay me. I want I need the kids' results. I need the kids' results on the back of that number, on that folder. And so that's what I'm driving at. I'm driving to improve. Am I doing what's right? Am I lying to the people? No, I am trying to show them, hey, we're getting these results with this, and this. And years ago, I was talking to Louie, and some people don't care about that. Hey, what can you do for my kid? No, what can your kid do for me? That's what I tell them, you know, and some of them are startled, like, oh, you know, yes, oh, yeah, I'm not trying to beg you to come. If you don't want to come, don't come. And I'm not the greatest customer service person either. I had a lady, we don't go to Jared for his customer service, we go to him for his results. And so I told someone the other day, I'm not in customer service, I'm in the customer results. And so I test my athletes at the end of each month. I can prove that we're jumping higher on a monthly basis. I can prove that we're running faster. The kids sure as hell know they're getting stronger because now they're out benching. At one, it may still even be that way. We had at 5 different high schools, I had the strongest kids at all those different high schools. And if you're looking at those kids, once they get scholarships, if they go to a university, now you're training collegiate athletes, and then everybody's looking at, oh man, he was such a freak. You know, and then they're telling, you know, like, I'm good, and I got a good relationship with all the athletes that come. So how do I continue to be profitable? I continue to care about the people and try to show them that they can improve. Just because you're not good, you know, Jared, I'm not very good at this. I don't care if you're good at it or not, you can get better at it. So just because you're not good at it now, don't mean you can't be great at it later. And I just talk to the kids, have personality with kids, mess with the kids, talk shit with them, they talk shit with me. We crank the music up loud. Even my neighbors complain about the music. We're here locally where a huge movie production facility is down the street, and they even knew that we play loud music. So, because they were coming to film a movie behind us, and they wanted to talk to me to see if I was going to be at the gym by those hours, because they get it that we play some loud music and crank it up and create some atmosphere. But Josh, I hope that helped. I'll get to Thomas's question tomorrow. So again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, email me at info@explosivemechanics. Instagram's not always the best, but you can try. Again, thanks for all those who bought the book. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks.